The episode kicks off with a quick flashback about Rentarou and his 6 spirit partners. One by one, he somehow managed to turn each of them into his girlfriend. Yeah, 6 girlfriends, not exactly your average relationship. Back to the present. The girls have been dating Rentarou for over 3 months now, and you know what they say, after 3 months, the spark starts to fade. That's exactly what's happening. Things are getting kind of boring. Carrie gathers everyone and brings it up. She says relationships usually hit a slump around this time, and she's not wrong. Here complains that she's only gone out with Rentarou twice since they started dating. Carney starts panicking, convinced he's getting bored of her, and honestly, the rest of the girls are starting to feel the same way. So, Carrie announces that she's got a plan to fix everything. Right then, Hari shows up and says she's invented this new drug, something that makes you feel like you've been reborn. Supposedly, it'll make Rentarou fall in love with them all over again, like it's the very first time. While Hari is working on the formula, suddenly, boom, a huge explosion. Rentarou hears the blast and runs toward the lab in a panic, shouting that the episode just started and they've already managed to cause a disaster. And the shock? All the spirits ended up switching bodies. Rentarou totally freaks out, while the girls start trying to explain. Turns out, they were testing the drug to rekindle his love, but yeah, it completely backfired. Now Renaro's got to figure out who's in whose body. Hikari wakes up inside Nan's body and has zero control over it. She stumbles over to Rentarou, barely able to stand straight, and grabs onto him for balance. That's when he realizes, yeah, this is definitely Hikari. Meanwhile, Kozari, who's now in Huri's body, is full of energy and bouncing around the room. But suddenly, she freezes. She needs the bathroom. Problem is, she forgot she's not in her usual body, the one that wears diapers. Mana, who's now in Shizuka's body, quickly grabs her and rushes her to the bathroom. Rentarou pieces it together. Kozari must be in Huri's body. Next, he looks around to figure out who's inside Kiri's body. He spots Harari rolling around on the floor, completely carefree, giggling like crazy. Yeah, that's definitely Harari. Then there's Karen, who ended up in Huri's body, and she's having the time of her life. She starts touching her own chest, then yells at Rentarou to stop staring. Awkward. But that was all the confirmation he needed. That's Karen, no doubt. Then he sees someone quietly standing off to the side, blushing shyly. It's clear right away that has to be Shizuka, now in Karen's body. Which means, by process of elimination, Nano is the one in Shizuka's body. Now that Rentarou has it all figured out, he starts wondering how to fix this mess. But the girls? They're way too busy enjoying their new bodies. Suddenly, Hari, who's currently in Kiri's body, says the only way to reverse this is through a miracle, a princess kiss, to be specific. She pulls Rentarou onto her lap, strokes his head gently, and tells him that good boys like him deserve rewards. Before anyone can stop her, she kisses him, and just like that, her spirit leaves Kiri's body. Everyone is stunned. Then Nano, still in Shizuka's body, walks over calmly and asks Rentarou to lean down. She reassures him that everything's going to be fine, and kisses him. Her spirit leaves Shizuka's body too. Next up is Kiri, who's in Hikari's body. She's standing super close to Rentarou, clearly impressed by the grace and femininity of her borrowed form. Rentarou tells her to just go ahead and kiss him, so she does, and her spirit leaves Hikari's body. Shizuka steps up nervously and asks Rentarou when it'll be her turn. He starts sweating, clearly nervous, but reassures her. She kisses him, and her spirit leaves Karen's body. Meanwhile, Harari is still stuck in Kozari's body and says this whole thing has gotten ridiculous. But Rentarou thinks she actually looks adorable like this, which makes Harari mad. She stomps off, pretending to go back to class. But Rentarou stops her and asks for one last chance. She blushes and lets him kiss her, and finally, Kozari's spirit exits Kiri's body. And at last, it's Hikari's turn. She's in Nano's body and clearly feeling the moment. With eyes full of emotion, she confesses her love to Rentarou. He smiles and kisses her, and that's when Harari's spirit finally leaves Nano's body. Just like that, everyone's back where they belong. After everyone got back into their own bodies, the girls were relieved. You could literally see them exhale in peace. And Rentarou? He was standing in the middle, still catching his breath, but honestly, he looked pretty happy. He thought to himself, today I got 6 kisses from 6 different girls in just a few minutes. Not exactly a normal school day. Carrie asked him what he thought of this crazy little experiment, and Rentarou, being totally honest, said it was actually kind of fun. Hikari felt relieved too, even if things didn't go exactly as planned. At least they made the day memorable. Then Rentarou looked at all of them and smiled, saying, I love you all just the way you are. That caught the girls off guard. They were totally surprised by how sweet he was. And then, they swarmed him. One by one, they started kissing him again without even giving him time to breathe. That's when Rentarou realized Fate definitely wasn't going to let him walk away with just 6 kisses today. The scene shifts to a new girl walking alone. Meanwhile, Renaro's in the cafeteria trying to decide what to eat. His eyes land on a plate of eggs and toast, and his face lights up. He reaches out to grab it and accidentally bumps hands with someone else. He looks up and sees a girl he doesn't recognize. But the moment their hands touched, he felt something strange, like a spark. A spiritual connection. Maybe it felt like he just met his 7th soulmate. Then he noticed what she was wearing, a middle school uniform. Oh, the girl quickly defended herself, saying there's no rule that says middle schoolers can't eat in the high school cafeteria. Renaro was still trying to process what just happened and politely told her to go ahead. She started searching her pockets for money, but couldn't find any. Embarrassed, she quietly walked away without buying anything. Later, she's sitting alone on a bench, stomach growling like crazy, looking super bummed out. Suddenly, Renaro appears in front of her holding the exact toast she had her eye on. He offers to share it with her. The girl immediately assumes he's hitting on her and gets annoyed, but Renaro stays calm and says he actually doesn't feel like eating it alone anymore, so he thought maybe they could split it. At first, she refuses, saying she doesn't take food from strangers, but her rumbling stomach gives her away. After hesitating a bit more, she finally gives in. Before she eats, she clasps her hands together and quietly says, "Thanks for the meal." In the moment she takes her first bite, her whole face lights up, pure joy. She starts telling Renaro how she'd heard her friends talking about a movie that had food like this in it, and she always wanted to know what it tasted like. Then she apologizes for how she acted earlier and admits she was just really hungry. Renaro reassures her that it's totally fine. As she keeps eating, she opens up more. She explains that food is her weakness. She gets tempted just by seeing or hearing about it, and it makes life really hard. To help herself stay focused, she usually wears a hoodie and headphones to block things out, but today she left them off. She wanted to live in the moment and fully enjoy this one meal. For her, it was kind of like showing respect to the food. When she finishes, she clasps her hands again and thanks him, then gets up to leave. Renaro calls out to her and asks for her name. She turns around, looking irritated, and accuses him of flirting with her, then storms off, heart pounding a little faster than she'd like to admit. The next day during lunch, the girl's walking down the hallway clearly annoyed. Her classmates are buzzing with excitement about some new sandwich in the cafeteria, and she's already going crazy with hunger just hearing them talk. She runs to the cafeteria hoping to grab one, but of course, they're sold out. Just then, Renaro shows up and asks her if she came for the sandwich too. She gets even more annoyed and demands to know what he's doing in the middle school cafeteria. He casually tells her there's no rule against it. They both go looking for that sandwich, but it's sold out there too. They spot a few similar looking ones, and Renaro suggests trying one of those. But the girl isn't having it. She says she'll just go buy the real one from a store outside. That's when Renaro reminds her that middle school students aren't allowed off campus during break. He offers to go get it for her, but she snaps and tells him to stay out of her life. A little later, she comes back, empty-handed. The sandwich was sold out there too. She's starving, upset, and wondering how it's even possible for one sandwich to disappear from literally everywhere. She starts yelling at herself in frustration and feels more alone than ever. As she walks back, she starts thinking about Renaro again. Even though he was kind to her, she pushed him away. Now she's tired, angry, and convinced there's nothing good about her. With no other option, she heads back to school, and the moment she gets there, she sees him waiting at the door. He motions for her to follow him, and to her surprise, she sees it, the sandwich she'd been dreaming about, sitting right there. Her expression softens for a second, but she still tries to play it cool and tells him, "I don't need your help." But Renaro replied, saying, "Actually, I need your help. I can't finish the other half by myself." Just like the day before, the girl gave in. Hunger always wins. She started eating, and as soon as she took a bite, her whole face lit up. "This sandwich is amazing," she said. She asked Renaro where he got it from, and he told her he actually got permission to make it himself. He even showed her the recipe. It was obvious he'd put real effort into it. That's when she noticed his hands, red and a bit burned from cooking. She looked upset and asked, "Why would you go through all that trouble for me? Especially after I was so rude to you. You don't even know my name." Later on, Renaro gathered his girlfriends and asked them what they thought about Kurumi, the new girl. He wanted to know if they'd be okay with her becoming his 7th girlfriend.
Wait, what?
The girls looked unsure. They were worried about Kurumi's personality. So Renaro explained that she's not a bad person. She just gets super cranky when she's hungry. That's what makes her come off as aggressive. Right then, Kurumi cut him off and said she didn't plan on talking to anyone except Renaro. That made the girls even more nervous. They were worried her attitude might ruin their group dynamic. As always, Nana was calm. She said that arguing wasn't going to help anything, and it certainly wouldn't bring them closer. That made some tension rise. The girls started wondering if maybe they weren't as close as they thought. Nana tried to ease things up. She told them she wasn't spending time with them out of obligation. She was with them because she truly loved and appreciated them. That really touched everyone. The girls started expressing how much they appreciated Nano, and the group slowly warmed up again. Then Renaro dropped a surprise. There was a huge upcoming food festival, and the prize was pretty impressive. He suggested they all join the competition together as one team, but Kurumi wasn't having it. She said she wasn't interested in teamwork and planned to enter solo. She didn't want to be slowed down by people who eat less than her and didn't want any drama. Hara pointed out that middle school students need a guardian to enter the contest. Kurumi went quiet for a second, realizing her parents wouldn't be able to come since they both worked on Sundays. After thinking it over, she asked Hari to pretend to be her mom and sign the permission form. Hari immediately agreed, way too excited to play the mom role. In the end, everyone agreed to join the contest as one group. The big day arrived, and the place was packed. The rules were simple. Each team had 10 players. The contest had 5 rounds, and players could swap out at any time. The team with the most points at the end would win. The announcer was explaining the rules with wild enthusiasm, but Kurumi clearly wasn't a fan of his voice. Renaro wasn't there just to win. He also wanted people to get to know Kurumi better and help the team bond as one unit. Round 1 kicked off, a rice eating challenge. Side dishes didn't count. Only plain rice mattered. Kozari tried to hype up the team but was secretly scared she'd get full too fast. Kurumi, on the other hand, was confident. She said she didn't need help and shoved past the others to eat alone. That rubbed the girls the wrong way. Carney especially took it personally, thinking Kurumi was calling them useless. Renaro jumped in to calm things down. He asked Kurumi to work with the team and told the others not to overthink it. His idea? Play as one united group. The match began. Renaro and Kurumi sat down and started eating rice. But Renaro noticed something. Kurumi hadn't even taken her first bite yet. She was staring at the side dishes instead of eating. Then it hit him. Maybe she needed a flavor boost. He handed her a side dish and told her to try it with the rice. That did the trick. Kurumi suddenly sped up and fast. Her eating pace became kind of unreal. Everyone was shocked by how quickly she was scarfing it down. Some people thought she'd accidentally eaten the side dish first, which wasn't allowed, and they laughed. But Renaro snapped. Who said that? Hikari tried to calm him down while giggling, and Carney had to physically step in between them. She asked Renaro if he had some kind of plan, and he just told them to watch how Kurumi eats. They all focused on her and realized she had a special style. The way she ate made everything look insanely appetizing. That gave everyone an idea. They rushed to grab their own side dishes too. Carney then realized this was Renaro's plan all along. He'd used Kurumi's eating style to motivate the rest of the team. The round kept going. Renaro and Kurumi were eating plate after plate like machines. A new dish would arrive, and they'd tear through it without slowing down. Carney was stunned by their appetite and asked, "How's he still going?" Nano pointed out that he should have been tired by now. Hikari warned him not to push himself too hard. Renaro explained that the girls were taking turns feeding him, and each plate tasted just a little bit different, even though it was all rice. That really touched the girls. They realized how much he cared about them, and how deeply he appreciated every little thing they did. Then the pace picked up even more. Renaro and Kurumi looked like absolute beasts, devouring dish after dish. The others just watched in awe. Finally, the round ended and the results were in. Renaro's team came in 3rd place. That meant they advanced to the next round. Renaro looked a bit disappointed. 3rd place? Seriously? But the rest of the team praised Kurumi for her incredible performance. They said her eating style was something special. Team Gorilla Syndicate took 2nd place. If you watched Season 1, you probably remember them. And in 1st place was Chinami Shiki. She competed all by herself and still crushed it, which shocked everyone since all the other teams were full squats. Her vibe? Total machine. The way she moved was robotic, and even her animation looked a little different from how she was drawn in the manga. Then the announcer introduced the 2nd round, a classic food challenge. This time, bubble tea. Renaro blinked. Since when is bubble tea considered a classic? He turned to his team and asked who was going in. Hari told him to take a break after how much he did in the 1st round. But Kurumi, fired up as ever, said she was joining again. She even declared she'd participate in every round. Renaro tried to talk her out of it. He said she should let someone else have a turn. No one can survive all 5 rounds alone. But she completely ignored him. In the end, Shizuka decided to step in and partner with Kurumi for this round. The 2nd match began. Everyone started chugging their bubble tea. At first, it looked fun. But 10 minutes in, the truth hit. This wasn't about appetite. It was a test of jaw strength. The tapioca bubbles were heavy and tough to chew. Everyone's jaws were wearing out fast. Kurumi began to struggle. She looked over at Shizuka, who was sipping her tea calmly like it was no big deal. Kurumi was stunned. How is she drinking it so easily? She wondered. Renaro explained that Shizuka's small mouth actually gave her an edge. It helped her bite through the boba and take small, steady sips. One of the girls pointed out that Shizuka always eats like that, and they realized her eating style was perfect for this challenge. Sure enough, the round ended, and Renaro's team landed second place again. The next challenge kicked off, 10 pieces of sushi per person. This time, Nano teamed up with Kurumi. They started eating, and Kurumi was clearly enjoying the sushi. But Renaro reminded her there wasn't time to savor it. She needed to finish fast. Kurumi tried to speed up, but it was obvious she didn't want to miss the flavor. She glanced over at Nano and saw her demolishing the sushi at lightning speed. Carney noticed it too. Nano wasn't even chewing. She was straight up swallowing whole pieces. Meanwhile, the Guerrilla Syndicate team and Kurumi started slowing down. Nano and that robotic girl, Chinko, were neck and neck, both reaching for the last sushi piece at the same time. But Chinko beat her by a split second. Carney was confused. Why did Nano slow down at the end? Renaro explained. Nano had eaten so much, she was on the verge of throwing up. That's why she started slowing down. Suddenly, Nano jumped up from the table, still holding the last piece of sushi, and ran off. Renaro shouted, "Where are you going?" She ran up the stairs and climbed onto the stage. Everyone was confused. What was she trying to do? Renaro told them she had a fear of heights, but if she went up there, she must really be determined to finish. Nano stood there, clearly terrified, but she took a deep breath and ate the final sushi piece. The crowd cheered, calling her Rapunzel in the tower. But once she was done, she completely froze. She had no idea how to get back down. Renaro rushed over and helped her down safely. Once again, their team placed second in the round. Next was round 3, the Spicy Mapo Tofu Challenge. Carney, proud of her spice tolerance, jumped in with Kazari. Everyone dove into the food without hesitation, but Carney was eating like she was in a battle. She was fierce. In the end, Renaro's team finally scored first place. Then came round 4, the Cake Challenge. This time, Hikari and Hari stepped in to help Kurumi. At first, everyone was loving it. Who doesn't enjoy cake? But Hikari noticed how much sugar was packed into each slice and started panicking. This is a disaster. All the sugar will wreck our bodies. Her comments spooked the Guerrilla Syndicate team, and most people stopped eating, except for Kurumi and Chinko the robot. Carney joked that sugar could enhance certain body parts. The moment Hikari and Hari heard that, they dove right back into the cake, convinced Renaro might like them more if they, got upgrades. The round ended, and again, Renaro's team came in second place. Renaro praised them, saying, "I'm lucky to have such talented girlfriends." The Guerrilla Syndicate team was stunned by how competitive they were. But Renaro explained it wasn't just about winning. It was the love and teamwork that kept them going. The whole team nodded in agreement, except Kurumi. She looked confused and asked what he was even talking about. Finally, it was time for the last round, the Ramen Challenge. Bowls of ramen were served, and Chinko the robot took the lead immediately. But since the final round was worth double points, everything was still up for grabs. By now, most of Renaro's team was too exhausted to continue. Only Kurumi was left standing. Renaro apologized, telling her he couldn't help this time. Meanwhile, the Guerrilla Syndicate team was falling apart fast. Their leader refused to give up and shouted, "Let's show them what Guerrilla Syndicate is made of." That fired her team up. They jumped back in. The announcer gave them the green light, and they rejoined the match. But it didn't last. The more they ate, the worse they looked. Eventually, medics had to step in, and they were officially out. They thanked the audience for the experience and left the stage. Now it was down to just two, Chinko the robot and Kurumi. Both of them were on their 10th bowl, and things were heating up. But then, the big twist dropped. Chinko wasn't even human. Inside the robot was a person controlling everything. He wasn't actually eating the food. He was storing it in a hidden compartment. In other words, he'd been cheating the whole time. Chinko boldly declared, "I'm going to win no matter what." Kurumi and Chinko kept going. They each hit 25 bowls of ramen. But Kurumi was starting to break down. Chinko smirked and told her that joining every round had been a huge mistake. She was exhausted, and he could see it. Kurumi started to lose confidence. She admitted to herself that she couldn't go on, that maybe she should have relied on her team. Tears welled up in her eyes. She felt like she had failed, and worse, that she had let Renaro down. Suddenly, Renaro and all the girls stood beside Kurumi at the table. She was stunned. "Why are you guys helping me?" Renaro smiled and said, "It's allowed by the rules. Now let us take care of the rest." Kurumi was overwhelmed and apologized for everything she'd said before. But the girls just laughed and told her they'd already forgotten it. They were friends, and they'd always stick by her. "That's the power of love," one of them said. Kurumi finally realized her mistake. She promised she'd never try to do things alone again, and she jumped back into into the match. Chinko, the robot competitor, started getting nervous. The team spirit was heating things up, and out of nowhere, Chinko stopped cheating and began eating the ramen for real. The final moments were insane. Everyone was eating like maniacs, but one by one, players started collapsing from food overload. With 5 seconds left, Kurumi pushed herself for one final bite. She told herself, "I have to win." Renaro leaned in and whispered something in her ear. Whatever it was, it gave her the courage she needed. Then, in a surprise move, Kurumi handed the last bit of ramen to Renaro. He ate it in one big gulp. Chinko tried to keep up but ended up choking. The ramen flew out of his mouth. Just like that, Renaro's team won. Everyone celebrated as they received the trophy and the big prize, ice cream. Despite the victory, Kurumi was still feeling guilty. She apologized again to everyone for how she acted. The girls smiled and pulled her into their arms. "Come on," they said. "Eat ice cream with us." They fed her bites themselves, giggling as they did. Their bond was stronger than ever now. They had become a real team, real friends. Later that night, after the festival, Renaro met Kurumi in the garden. She thanked him for inviting her to join the competition. It helped her finally get close to the others. Then she remembered the reward she'd been promised if they won, that she'd get to taste what she loved most. She stepped forward, kissed Renaro, and with a playful smile said, "Guess that means I just tasted you." Meanwhile, Hikari's image of her mom, Hari, always poised, elegant, and graceful, was about to be completely shattered. That day, Hikari was with her friends when Hari suddenly burst into the room, way too excited, holding up a bunch of frilly, baby-style outfits. "You guys have to try these. They're adorable," she beamed. Hikari looked like she wanted the ground to swallow her whole. To calm Hari down, Renaro said he'd try one on himself, but it was way too small. That's when Hari got an idea. "What if you all take my baby pill and shrink down? Then the outfits will fit." The girls were understandably horrified. Nobody wanted to turn into a baby just to fulfill Hari's weird dream. But Hari threw a tantrum. She started rolling around on the floor, crying like an actual child. Finally, Hikari snapped. "Enough, Mom. You're embarrassing me. You're not a kid. You're a mother. I'm your daughter, and I can't take this anymore." Hari approached gently and said something that softened her daughter's heart. "I may act like a mom to everyone, but you'll always be the most important person to me." But, unfortunately, Hari missed the point. It wasn't about love. It was her behavior that pushed her daughter away. Trying to lighten the mood, Kozari jokingly tossed a baby pill, but accidentally threw it at a cat. The cat knocked the bottle over, and it shattered, releasing a strange vapor. Everyone on the rooftop suddenly shrank into babies. Renaro immediately covered the baby girl's eyes, yelling, "Even if you're babies now, I can't just look at you like that. It's not respectful." He and Hikari scrambled to get the tiny girls dressed in the baby outfits Hari brought. They actually looked adorable, but in the chaos, Hikari started daydreaming. She imagined herself married to Renaro, raising a bunch of kids together. Her face turned bright red. Renaro, meanwhile, was laser-focused on changing diapers and dressing the babies. Hikari realized Kozari had warned them to wait an hour before taking the antidote, so she tried to stay calm. Then Renaro tried to pick up baby Shizuka to play with her, but the poor girl crawled away in fear. He gently reassured her, "I'm not gonna eat you. Don't be scared." That's when hungry little baby Kurumi crawled up to Hikari and started nursing from her chest. Hikari froze in horror, completely panicked and paralyzed. She tried to pull Kurumi off, but was so embarrassed she couldn't function. Renaro rushed in to help, but just then, baby Nano crawled toward the door. He ran to stop her, but Nano scratched his face and screamed at him. Elsewhere, baby Hari almost drank the antidote early, but Renaro swooped in just in time to save her and Nano. Meanwhile, baby Karni started crawling toward Hikari too, trying to nurse just like Kurumi. Kurumi saw this and snapped. She shoved Karni away. Karni pushed back, and the two babies started brawling. Hikari screamed, "Enough! Stop fighting!" Suddenly both babies burst into tears, loud, wailing, ear-splitting cries. Hikari tried everything to calm them down, rocking them, holding them close, even offering herself again out of desperation. But nothing worked. While she struggled, baby Hari climbed onto her back and yanked her hair. Hikari cried out in pain, praying the hour would pass already. But then, something unexpected happened. Baby Kurumi gently reached out and touched Hikari's head, a tiny, warm moment of kindness in the middle of a storm. Right after that, though, chaos returned. Kurumi and Karni started somersaulting across the rooftop, nearly falling off. Renaro, in a heroic move, jumped and grabbed them both just in time. The weirdest part? All the baby girls burst into hysterical laughter at his dramatic save. Realizing they were laughing at his goofy antics, Renaro started goofing off more, rolling on the ground around, flopping around, doing silly poses. He kept going until his face was scratched, bruised, and covered in dirt. But hey, at least the babies finally fell asleep. Hikari quickly grabbed a bandage and started tending to Renaro's scratched-up face. Your face looks like you just came back from a war, she said. Renaro just smiled. What matters is that they finally calmed down. Once the baby chaos was over and everyone returned to their normal bodies, the mood finally settled down. But in a quiet moment, Hari suddenly looked sad. I wish I could have seen you all as babies a little longer. I really wanted to be your mom. The girls laughed. You kinda already act like a baby anyway, one of them joked. That made Hari burst into laughter through her tears. Meanwhile, Kurumi and Karni couldn't stop staring at Hikari's chest like they were still in baby mode. It was weird. Hikari glanced at her mom and softly said, "Sorry, Mom. Maybe I've been a little too harsh on you." Hari replied, "No, I'm the one who should be sorry. I didn't think about how you felt. I embarrassed you." Hikari hugged her tightly and said, "I love you, Mom. I don't regret having you in my life. Ever since you met Renaro, you've been genuinely happy, so just keep being yourself. Stay the way you are with your family." Hari got teary-eyed, but before things got too dramatic, Kozari barged in holding up another baby potion bottle. "I still have one left," she said. "Can I use it again and play mommy?" Hikari face-bombed. "I knew I shouldn't have opened my mouth." Next scene, everyone's gathered together, happily munching on cookies. Renaro sat in the middle, smiling, while Kurumi was glowing from how much she loved the cookies. Hikari teased her. "Every bite makes your eyes sparkle. Seriously." Kurumi blushed. "Come on, Nano and Shizuka have way prettier eyes than me." That kicked off a whole wave of compliments. "Your eyes are like gemstones. They sparkle like the sea. I love how mysterious your gaze is." Renaro joined in from the back, whispering dramatically, "I adore all your eyes." Suddenly, Hari asked, "Wait, hold on. Has anyone ever seen Maya's eyes?" Everyone went silent. Maya, the ever-smiling maid, never opened her eyes. Shizuka asked, "What color are they even?" Hari said, "I've heard they shine like the universe." Kozari jumped up. "Come on, Maya, open them already." But Maya politely replied, "I'm a maid. I have to keep smiling to make my lady feel at ease." Hari begged, "Just once, please. I haven't seen them in years." Maya tried to open her eyes, but her face was stuck. Literally, she'd been smiling for so long, her muscles wouldn't move. She even tried forcing her eyelids open with her fingers. No luck. Then she calmly said, "Give me a second. I'll grab a scalpel." Renaro and Hari panicked and rushed to stop her. The group suddenly started wondering how Maya even functions without ever opening her eyes. With a peaceful smile, she said, "I'm blind. I rely on my other senses." Right then, a priest statue fell from the roof. Maya instantly sensed it and caught it before it hit Renaro. Renaro was shocked. "You're amazing." Shizuka got excited and tried to scare her into opening her eyes. Boo, nothing happened. Everyone stared at her in silence. To save her from embarrassment, Renaro pretended to be scared. Kozari pulled out another gadget. "I have a spray that melts facial tension. Maybe this will loosen her up." Maya replied, "If it would make Lady Hari happy, go ahead." Hari leapt forward. No. Nano, getting into the spirit, pulled out a fake cutter and approached Maya. "I'm opening them right now." Maya just smiled and said, "Thank you." But Nano suddenly revealed it was just a joke. "It's not real, guys." Shizuka, overwhelmed, started crying. She thought Maya had actually gotten hurt. Renaro and Nano hugged her to calm her down. Kurumi tried a more emotional approach. She offered Maya her favorite pie. "Maybe this will open your eyes." Maya tasted it and said it was delicious, but nope, still closed. Kurumi sighed. "I thought happiness opens people's eyes." Karni laughed. "You've been watching too much anime. No one's eyes open from pure joy." Renaro turned to Maya. "All right then, Maya, what makes you the happiest?" She replied softly. Seeing Hari smile, Hari lit up. "And I'm happiest when we're all together, as a family." That gave Hikari an idea. "Karni, try hugging Hari. Maybe that'll open her eyes." Karni blushed. "But Hari smells like you, warm and comforting." She moved closer and almost kissed her.
Wait, what?
Hikari smacked her immediately. Kozari and Shizuka wrapped Hari in a big hug, and Maya started tearing up. A small tear slid from beneath her closed lids. Renaro tried to cheer her up with a terrible joke. When Maya didn't laugh, he said, "Okay, maybe the guy who told me that was an idiot." Finally, Maya giggled and opened her eyes. They were stunning, deep and colorful like galaxies. But the second she realized she'd laughed at Hari, she freaked out and shut them again. Hari teased her. "Oh, looks like someone's got a crush on Renaro." The girls joined in. "If you really love him, join the family already." Maya turned to Renaro, smiled sweetly with her eyes open, and said, "I love you. Can I be part of your family too?" And just like that, the anime ends.